Hello and welcome to my kitchen. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make bhatura, which is a delicious fried bread, and it goes really well with chole, which is a chickpea curry. So don't forget to check out my video on that. Now this recipe comes from my Usha auntie, so thank you so much for sharing this recipe with us all. Let's get cooking. You'll need 2.5 cups or 230 grams of self-raising flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of carom or ajwain seeds, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, and we're going to roast these and grind them up in a pestle and mortar, 1 tablespoon of oil, and 2 tablespoons of chopped coriander or chopped fenugreek leaves. And to bind the dough, you'll need 6 to 8 tablespoons of yogurt and 1 tablespoon of warm milk. The first thing we're going to do is to roast the cumin seeds in a frying pan. Now, I always have a bottle of ground cumin ready, roasted ground cumin, but for this recipe, I actually roast it fresh and grind it in a pestle and mortar. Now, when you grind spices in a pestle and mortar, it makes such a difference compared to actually grinding it in a grinder, because it helps release the oils. Heating it up like this helps release the oils in the spices, and grinding it in a pestle and mortar does the same thing. So we're gonna have a very flavorful bhatura here. So I can smell the cumin, and I've turned off the heat, and I'm gonna get ready to grind it now. So it is quite hot still, and I'm just gonna grind it a little bit. You can see some steam coming out too. So you want it fairly coarse like this. Then in a large bowl, we'll be mixing the flour, the salt, the carom seeds, and the roasted cumin seeds. And we're just gonna mix that together to combine everything. Then we're gonna add in the oil and mix that in. Then add in the coriander and the yogurt, and we're gonna try and make a dough. We don't wanna knead it too much or mix it too much, because the dough will get sticky. Just combine everything together as best you can, and then mix it in together well. And the finishing touch is the milk. We're going to add milk as we need it. Your dough should be fairly soft, like chapati dough. And then finish it off with a drop of oil. Now I ended up using 8 tablespoons of yogurt. The idea is to make the dough with yogurt and then just finish it off with a little bit of milk at the end, just to combine everything. So depending on the yogurt that you use, your yogurt might have more water content. Greek yogurt is very thick, so I had to use more of that. So just estimate it based on your flour and how it looks. Now we're just going to get a damp cloth, and we're going to cover the dough and put it into the refrigerator. And let the dough rest for at least 3 hours. If you let it rest overnight, that's even better. So my dough's been resting in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours, and I'm getting ready to make the bhatura now. So I'm just going to knead the dough lightly. So I'm making balls about the size of my hands here, like a fistful. Now this recipe I didn't make vegan, but if you want to make it vegan, just use vegan yogurt and soy milk or oat milk or almond milk, and I'm sure it will be just fine. This amount that I have here makes 8 bhatura from this recipe. So if you need more, just multiply the ingredients. And I'm just rolling it to make a smooth round ball like this, and then I'm going to get ready to roll them. So I have an inch deep of sunflower oil here in my kadai, and my pan is actually quite large, and the reason for that is that the bhatura, when you fry them, they do bubble a lot, so you want to have plenty of space on top. So I'm going to heat up my pan on a medium-high heat, number 7. Now, when you're rolling these, you want to use oil instead of flour. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of oil on my counter here. And I'll just dip my fingers in there and grease the counter as needed, and my rolling pin. So you just need to make it a slightly thicker than puris. Not too thick and not too thin either. So I think my oil is hot enough, but I'm just going to check it by putting in a little bit of the dough. And it's not quite there. It's almost there, but that took a little bit too long to come up, so I'm going to let it heat up a little bit more. I'm just going to check it again. And there you go, I can see more of a sizzle when I put that in, so I think my oil is hot enough. So I'm going to fry my first bhatura. If they're too thick, they won't rise, and if they're too thin, they won't rise either. Look at that. So it's about 3 to 4 millimeters thick. And we're just going to pick it up and then put it in the hot oil. And then gently push it down, and it should start to fluff up like this. You just got to help it a little bit and it will happen. And then flip it over. And here it is, the delicious bhatura. Don't forget to check out my chole recipe, which goes really well with these. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And the written recipe is up on my website, milhan.com. I'll see you all soon for some more cooking inspiration.